who is patient, not a brawler, not covetous.
I want to be a brawler, shot caller,
No, you
brawler.
don't. No, you don't. But yeah, so. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
This is Shirley English.
And I'm Baldwyn.
Welcome to the
English
Exchange.
All right. After our first video, and thank you for all of those that commented. Many people sent us offline comments. We want you to comment on the YouTube or whatever platform you saw it, or comment on that because that helps us out, right? Mm-hmm. But one of the items that kind of stood out to people was
the list.
The list. You had a list. You kind of went into that in the last episode. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me afterwards of a brief little reference I saw dealing with a young lady, Angel Reese, who is a WNBA player. Yeah. And it was an interview she did a few months ago where she spoke about
her list.
Her list, loosely. She was asked about like what she's looking for in someone that she would date, right? So now Angel Reese is 6'3", which is tall by women's standards.
Absolutely.
So she wants to date someone that is between, 6'7", 6 feet 8 inches tall.
Yeah, I'm 5'9", and I think that's tall, a little tall by women's standards as well. And I definitely wanted someone that was taller than me, but it wasn't like if you weren't, I'd write you off.
Right. It wasn't absolute.
Right.
What do you call it? A deal breaker. It wasn't
definitely not a deal breaker.
Okay. So it was more of a preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hers, and I don't know
if hers a deal breaker or
she never
preference.
went into that. It's just a quick aside in a longer episode that she had. So I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw this kind of clip, watched a little bit around it. 6'7", 6'8", and an NBA player.
That's what her partner should possess, those characteristics.
So that so NBA player, that leads also to income, right? Because they're all making at least $1 million a year, whatever the minimum. I think the minimum's like $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
Would you?
No, I just didn't know. I'm surprised. I thought maybe $500,000.
I think it's
$1 million.
I think it's about $1 million.
I mean, I really have no reference. So I don't know.
So anyway, so there are 450 or so NBA players. Let's say half of them maybe
are single.
6'7".
Oh.
6'8".
I'm thinking half are like available.
Let's say half are available.
You think most are single?
No, I don't think most are. Oh, I think a lot are single. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, so half are the height, right? Maybe meet the height requirement. Right. So that's what?
225.
You said 150.
I said 450.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, is that many?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not listening, apparently.
So let's see, 225 are meet the height requirement.
Okay.
Let's say half of them are in committed relationships. Let's throw that out there. I don't know.
Okay, so that brings it down to
100 and some odd.
100, a little over 100.
Yeah.
110,
which would be her
12.
Her dating pool.
Okay.
Right, which is
not a lot.
Not a lot of people.
No, it just cuts out a lot of people.
Now, granted, she's in that basketball space, so she's meeting she's probably met a lot of these people
already.
And maybe have decided, I'm not going to date so-and-so, I'm not going to date so. So that's a small pool that she has.
It is that she's limited herself. Is she she's not with someone right now currently?
I don't know. She's dated a couple people. I don't know. I'm not all, she's a little young woman. I don't follow her that well. But I'm just saying, just as a jump off point.
Yeah.
She has her list, and it's a very narrow list. And again, it's a couple months ago. Maybe she's changed by now. But this ain't about Angel Reese, right?
It's about the list.
The list. Having a list and what it means for someone that may be dating.
Right. Yeah. And who's not a WNBA and not
Star.
Right. Not a celebrity.
Yeah.
But just kind of
regular
yeah,
folk.
I don't know if I could say regular. Regular is that bad?
That's not bad. We're regular, regular folk.
Yeah. So what does that look like for young.
Well, we have 21 years of experience that we can rely on. We're not trying to tell anybody
what their list should be.
But we can go back and say, if we went back 20 something years with the knowledge we have now, what our list would look like.
Exactly.
If we were dating.
Exactly. Oh, you said it very well. It's perfect.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So what would your list look like if you could talk to your old self, or, have the knowledge you have now 20 some years ago? What would you be thinking about?
So someone, I think, on the list, and not no particular order, but someone certainly, obviously, I'm of a Christian faith. So we got to be aligned that.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So that's probably on my list, high on my list. What about you?
Yeah. So I would say definitely someone who is kind, right? Kind, just kind, a nice person, kind to others, family oriented, just have a good relationship with their family.
Good.
That says a lot about them as a person.
Yeah.
Next?
I think someone who's going to be a good parent, right? Because I definitely knew I wanted to have a family. If God blessed, with one. So that was one thing on my list.
And I think for me, someone who wasn't like aggressive, right? Who is quick to anger, who's very thoughtful in their approach when they're stressed, right? Just kind of, sits back, think about things, doesn't react quickly to stress, just is very kind of, thoughtful and just think about things. And, it's not, I remember we looked in the Bible, kind of looking at passages that would fit this, this topic. And one of the things it said, you want a leader, a man to be, you don't want him to be quarrelsome was the word that it said. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. You don't want someone who's, quick to anger. And I remember that like maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we were in a situation where we were driving and again, I don't know if you cut him off, but I'm sure it was by accident. And that guy got super upset, came back, drove fast and cut us off and was just enraged, like literally enraged. I'm like, what could you have done that could have caused such a reaction?
Absolutely. I did nothing. I did nothing.
But at worst, cut him off.
At worst, maybe.
Right. And I'm like, my goodness, I'm like, I wouldn't want to be married to someone like that.
Yeah.
Like, I would be afraid.
Yeah.
You know,
like a lot going on offline, so I don't know.
So yeah. So yeah. So you don't want someone who is like that.
Yeah.
Next.
Now I'm trying to think. We're getting down this list, right?
Yeah. So we talked about
who I can have fun with. You know what I mean?
Who's fun, wants to do things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we talked about someone who's fun, someone who's aggressive or quarrelsome, someone who is of the Christian faith. For you, Christian, like specifically Seventh-day Adventists. For you, did it matter?
For me, I think so. Yeah. Let's go to church on Saturday and all that kind of stuff. So it makes it easier. Yeah.
Okay. And then someone who is kind, right? Who's nice. Is that it?
I mean, those are
like good foundational. Yeah. I think that's good. So I know sometimes a lot of people are looking like outside appearance, right? You want someone who can dress, who has this, who make this type of money and looks a certain way
and I think that those things
are fine,
and they have some relevance, obviously, to the discussion. Right? You obviously, we watched that show Love Is Blind right before, and I don't know, but there generally is obviously going to be some attraction, right? But how high it is on your list, and is it you know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, it's important, right? Because if you're not attracted to the person, honestly, it's just going to be annoying having them around. If you're just like, I'm not attracted to you, I don't want to. Be close to you and be intimate and hugging and like
But even that stuff, that can fluctuate, right? How attractive you see someone can fluctuate, at least from my perspective, based on their character, based on how they treat you and so forth.
That is true,
People look better when they're nice and fun.
Right. And confidence. Confidence goes a long way, right? Yeah. As well. So that's true. Yeah. That is true.
So listen, that stuff comes and goes. Old accidents, whatever the case may be, looks can be impacted over the course of time.
Over 20-year marriage.
Yeah.
We don't look like how we used to when we were younger.
Definitely.
That's maybe less, more. I look very similar to how I was 20 years ago.
Yeah, you do.
People tell me that a lot.
People do.
Anyway, let me stop. I'm just joking. But not really. Oh goodness!
You look
but
good.
yeah,
you look good. You look very similar.
Yeah, you're not too bad yourself.
Not too bad.
Not too shabby. But anyway, so that's the list. I don't know if anyone found anything helpful with what we kind of talked about, but truly, you want really good characteristics in the person that you're going to be married to. So who you're dating, right? Because if you're looking for marriage, you want who you're dating to be someone who can be a husband or who can be a wife.
So going back to what you referenced, the biblical kind of list, right? We talked about, you and I spoke offline about Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman, virtuous woman. It lists characteristics about everything from being able to manage finances is in there, manage a household. And there are a lot of other positive, tributes. Yeah. I would encourage you to read Proverbs 31, and just look at those things that may be important, right? And I know you had read the list about, and it was really talking about a bishop, like a leader in the church. But I think as a man, those are very relevant things. Husband of one wife, right? So you want someone that is, going to be committed, faithful, right? That's that should be. We didn't talk about that.
No,
but yeah,
that's a given.
Yeah,
that should be a given, right?
And so look. Do you remember where that was taken from?
No, It was Timothy. 1 Timothy 3. I think
1 Timothy 3.
Yeah. Someone who is not given to wine. Wow.
Sober. You want someone that's
who's sober, who doesn't get drunk, someone who's not greedy, love of money, has a good reputation, who is patient, not a brawler, not covetous.
I want to be a brawler. Shot caller.
No, you don't. No, you don't. But yeah, so.
Yeah. So anyway, read those yourself. 1 Timothy 3. Proverbs 31. I think there's another one, maybe Ecclesiastes or Ephesians. You can find it. Chat GPT it. You'll get these tips that we think are valuable.
Yeah, I think so. So that's all we have. And if you have any questions or want to make any comments based on what we said, just put it in the comments, and we can definitely have a broader discussion about it if needed.
Cool.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.